Fishermen on Mersea Island in Essex say tough new quotas mean there's no longer any point in going out to sea. The amount of Dover sole they're allowed to catch each month has been halved, and there's a total ban on catching skate. The fishermen say the island's main industry, which stretches back generations, is at risk.
This is where you'll find most of what's left of the West Mersea fleet, tied up. The fishermen told me quota cuts mean there's simply no point setting sail anymore.
The skate we're not allowed to catch no more. That's been cut to nothing, and that is another one of our major species that we catch here. We used to have 30 odd boats here. We've got 10. We don't know nothing else. That's just what Mersea does, is fishing.
This is the icebox on the quay here at West Mersea. This is where the fleet keeps its catch. It should be brimming with fish, but because the fleet hasn't actually been out since Monday, it's virtually completely empty.
In the corner, 2 lonely boxes of Dover sole. But at the Centre for Environment, Fisheries and Aquaculture Science in Lowestoft, the scientists say the EU fishing quotas are vital.
The fisheries need to be sustainable. We need to ensure that there are fish populations which carry on into the future so that we can continue harvesting them to produce food. It's a limit on the total amount of fish you can remove from a given population. So it's just saying that if you take that and no more, we can leave some fish to grow and to reproduce in the future.
But that's no consolation for Andrew French, getting ready to sell his boat.
My father and grandfather were fishermen, oystermen before me, and it's going to be a real wrench to see the community come to a halt.
The new government says it will fight Brussels to try to maintain fishermen's livelihoods, but soon the only boats on West Mersea could be rotting hulks. Gareth George, BBC Look East.
A factory which employed 600 people a few years ago ceased trading today. Geld Wen had gradually shut down its operation in Lowestoft. Demand for the timber windows they produced had been hit by the recession. The factory in Waveney Drive was once run by the firm Bolton and Paul. Unions have attacked the possible closure of a dozen courts in the region as an erosion of local justice. 3 magistrates' courts in Norfolk are under review, as well as 3 in Essex and 1 in Suffolk. The county courts at Harlow and Lowestoft may also shut.
I'm someone who used to work in these magistrates' courts as a solicitor, so I know very well the work that they do. But we are in an incredibly difficult situation at the moment. As a country, we're spending a lot more than we're bringing in taxes, and we have to reduce spending somewhere.
Now, were you any good at history at school? Well, from this week, thousands of school children will be brushing up on their history by visiting one of the region's Elizabethan houses. For almost a month, Kentwell Hall in Long Melford is turning back the clock.
The hustle and bustle of modern-day life as we know it, left behind at the entrance gates. Enter a Tudor wonderland and the date, 1538. Every year, 200 volunteers don traditional costume and the Old English language. The day aims to educate children in a way textbooks can't.
The enjoyment the children get and the hands-on and to see things being made which you never get a chance to see.
Hundreds of youngsters will pass through these grounds over the next 3 weeks, learning how the Tudors lived. From baking to cheese making, even learning the science behind the pinhole camera.
Light comes through a small hole from one side of the garden upon the wall opposite, and you see it in colour but upside down.
And with tens of activities to get stuck into, what did today's guests make of it?
They were playing just oldish music, and they were just using the flute, bagpipes and drums.
Dancing, because we get to run around and jump, and some people were falling over, and it was fun.
The annual recreation is decades old and still continues to educate the younger generation. Kate Riley, BBC Look East, Long Melford.
The first of 300,000 wetland plants grown in Norfolk have been laid around the London 2012 site today. They were grown in Thetford, and this morning they were set in their new Olympic home by the TV gardener Charlie Dimmock.
Made in Norfolk, laid in London. Another example of the Olympic Games punching through the M25. Workers started to create 250 acres of parklands around the stadium on a century-old landfill site. Today, the first of the Norfolk water plants went in. They'll form part of Britain's largest ever urban river planting.
What's happened here today is, for me, the most exciting bit because, OK, the construction is amazing, but then when you start putting the planting around, it just brings it all together.
The plants are being grown by Salix at Thetford. There are more than 30 species of reeds, rushes, grasses, sedges, wildflowers and irises.
Without the parklands, we'd just have these buildings dotted in a meaningless landscape. By creating the park, I think we create a fantastic legacy for the future. The parklands will be, I think, absolutely central to the success of the Games.
It's hoped the park will provide a colourful and festival atmosphere for the Games, and long after Usain has bolted, it'll become the largest new urban park for more than 100 years. It's East Anglia's everlasting gift to the Games. Sean Peel, BBC Look East.
The best teachers in the East have been named today. The award for Secondary School Teacher of the Year went to Daniel Browning, who teaches history at Tendring Technology College in Essex, and the Primary School Head Teacher of the Year was Tony Hull from Cossey in Norfolk. Well, now it's time to head back to Susie at the Norwich Playhouse. Bye-bye.